Hi all. You know what? I thought that this should be a really good time for me to make this little video and then just share an update with everybody in terms of what I've been up to. Um, I realized that I haven't posted any video or like any major updates since last year, October and November. And in this video, I'll just talk about what's been keeping me so busy and what I've been up to in my day job, as well as what I've been up to outside my day job and for my own personal project. So it's 10:38 p.m. right now, and I've got a few more minutes to make this video before I go to sleep because I've got to get up early tomorrow morning and go to work. It's work from office day. Anyway, so since last year, since last October, November, what I've been up to is on a personal side of on the personal side of things for my life, and I was actually looking at expanding my investment portfolio, and this meant buying. I was in the market for a new property, and that in Sydney is painful. It was painful. Oh my god, I cannot stress enough of how stressful the entire process was, and just how competitive everything was. Because every time, say for example, see how does property search work, right? So you look through one of those real estate websites, then you see a listing for a property, then you look at it, you call the agent, or you see when do they have an open home, and you go for the inspection, and then you take some time to think about it. If you like it, you put in a bid, you put in an offer, and you go from there. But what was happening was that the market was super competitive, and what happened at every open home and for every listing or everything that I saw, even though it wouldn't be an auction, I would see a home, and what was happening in the beginning was that, okay, so I would see and I'd take some time to think about it, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 days, or take the weekend to think about it, and then when I call the agent, they're like, you know what, no, it's already sold, it's already gone. So yeah, it was moving that fast. Then I became fast, so I started putting in offers, and then what's happening is that when I put in an offer, the agent would say, okay, fine, thank you, and then they would call other potential buyers and anyone who was interested in the when they saw the home, and he would tell them, and then they would, if anyone gives an offer higher than me, then the agent would call me back and say that, you know what, we've got an offer that's higher than you. They won't tell me the exact number. They're like, oh, can you increase the offer? So if I increase it by like $1,000 or $2,000, they'd be like, nah, high. So it's just, you keep increasing that way. It was that's how it was, and in some cases, oh my god, there was this website where you track where you track the offer. So it's a website, right? And then it's property, the property that you put an offer for. Now over there you have the ranking. So you see where you rank. So you put an offer, say for example, say 800,000 or 850 or 900. It's just some arbitrary number. You put an offer, and then the website, when you view the site, it tells you how many of the interested buyers are there, and then how you rank in the offer. So you'd see, oh, you put an offer, you had 3. But then if you increase your offer by like 5k or like 10k, then you'd move to number 2 or number 1. And then you wait, and then there's a closing time, right? So like and then somebody else puts an offer next morning, then they get hired, so you look at the listing. So this whole thing becomes like a game. It's like a leaderboard, yeah, there was all that, but so it was a constant back and forth of like talking to the agents, going to open homes, and my search expanded most of Western Sydney, Greater Western Sydney, Southwest Sydney, and then South Sydney. That's the Campbelltown region. So it was exhausting and it was tiring. And every Saturday, every Sunday, I'd get up in the morning and I would just see where are the open homes, and then I'd go for those, and then talk to the agents or something like. This was my day. This was my weekend. Absolutely. And if there's a heat wave, I wouldn't know if there's a heat wave, because why? Because I don't check the weather. I just check the real estate listings when I wake up in the morning. So that's how it was. things right. It was insane. Fortunately, I managed to find something, and that was within my range and everything. That was within, it met the criteria that I had for the property, and I'm actually looking forward to moving forward in that one. So yeah, I'll keep you updated. There isn't much to share on that, but yeah, I did manage to come out okay on the other end. So it was a long, painful process. Now, my advice to anyone who's in the same position as me, if you like, you're welcome to reach out to me. I mean, I know the market. I know a lot of the agents, and I'm very familiar with not just Sydney but also the regional New South Wales market. So feel free to reach out to me if you want to make your life any less painful. If you don't want to go through the pain that I went through, that's okay. Just hire a professional buyer's agent. They charge you 15 to 20K per property, or anywhere between $10,000 to $20,000 per property, and that's fine. They'll get you what you want, and they'll help you manage it. And it'll be less of a headache for you, less of a process for you. But that's that. Now, on the other side, in terms of my day job, for my day job, most of us are actually forced is not the right word. Most of us are encouraged to use our annual leave at the end of the year, and because every end of the year we have the mandatory Christmas shutdown period, which is why it's a way in which companies can actually get employees to take their annual leave and get some time to relax, recover, and then come back stronger the year after. So fortunately, I managed to not take my annual leave at the end of last year. I did manage to get permission to work through it because I have plans. I have my own personal reasons to go for holidays sometime this year. So now that I managed to stay back and work during the Christmas shutdown period. It was only me. It was fairly peaceful, and that gave me some time to reflect on my team, who we are, what we do, and how we do. And I tried to pinpoint some of the aspects of the team in where we spend the most time. And one thing that I realized that we spend a lot of time in code reviews, and in particular, a lot of the time goes in terms of reviewing unit tests. And because we had in my old team, we had certain specifications on exactly what they want the unit test to be. The unit test should be written a certain way, and certain comments should be in certain places for unit tests, and all of that. It was just some of the rules that the team had. So the first thing I did was, given that we already had the GitHub Copilot as our AI tool for work, I created I customized the Copilot instructions file and captured the essence of how the team wants the unit test to be. And I used that to generate unit tests and increase the code coverage up to 95%. And that was great. So think about this. It's just me, a single engineer, and then we've got a repository with like thousands of lines of code, right? And there's a lot of untested areas in the repo, and to bring that unit test coverage up to 95% for everything that we care about, and for a single engineer to do that. Now, if you think about it, like 4 or 5 years ago, it would have taken ages to do that. But I customized the instruction file, and I could do all of that within like less than an hour, half an hour maybe. Now, the other thing that I did was I realized that, we also spend too much time on code reviews, and code reviews take a long time, and there's a lot of back and forth about, and different people, and we had a certain arbitrary number of approvals, and that was a high number. We needed like X amount of approvals for it to be, for the PR to be passed, or the PR to be approved to move to testing, to be ready for test. So for that, I also captured the essence of how we review, and I created again, I customized the instructions file for it, because with GitHub Copilot, on Visual Studio Code or even IntelliJ for that matter, you can get GitHub Copilot to review your code. And once it reviews the code, and based on how you've customized the instruction, it will give you suggestions. If you've written something that's not quite what the instructions expects it to be, it will tell you. It will give you suggestions of how you need to the change that you need to make to it. So I did that. That too worked great, and in combination of that and a conversation with the team, the PR process was significantly faster after that. Like we tried the PR review process got much faster. The next thing that I identified was that in my old team, when we add a particular feature, we do a set of things. There are a series of tasks that we follow, and there are a set of things that we do. And I try to capture, the essence of that. So in terms of like, what are the things that we do? How for building a feature X, we need to add like Y new classes. So building a feature Y, we need to add X number of new classes, and then we need to make changes to certain configuration files and all of that. And I said, okay, fine, you know what? Like I've got an idea, and what I did was I created a customized prompt file. So with GitHub Copilot, you can actually create your own little prompt. So normally your prompts are like just English, and like you prompt the Copilot to your you prompt the LM to give you a response. But here I created a specialized customized prompt with which, should we give it all the information, it can build out that entire feature for us. And of course, it would not be production ready, but it will do all the grunt work for us. It will generate all the classes. We don't need to handwrite a lot of the code. It will do all that for us, and then we just go in and review the code, and we test it, and we make sure that it all works exactly as we want it to work. And then we can create a PR and then push the code to merge the code. Of course, this can be enhanced with customized agents file, but that's a topic for a different video altogether. And lastly, so that's the work aspect of it. Lastly, on my personal projects, this is what I've been up to. So I won't be able to talk too much about this right now because it's still early. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to build a series of agents using Ollama and then LangChain. I'm experimenting with it, and one of the things that I'm focusing on is just things like how to get a better response out of the LLM using things like the tool like the the Natural Language Toolkit in Python. And also the other area that I'm trying really hard is, once the LLM generates the content, how do we validate it? For things like swear words or anything like that, how do we verify that output? How do we ensure the output is okay and it's not something too offensive? So far, what I've got is I've got a multi-agent file, and I've built out an orchestrator that will actually orchestrate the work between different agents. And I've built a tool that will do a simple web search. And the web search could be something really simple about just any particular search query that you give it or the LM gives it. And so combining the search with the LM and Ollama, and then this is just for me to get something going. And once this is there, I'll see if I can integrate this with any actions, any sort of CI/CD workflow. But again, before I get to it's still too early, so I'm not going to share too much about that. So this is pretty much all I wanted to say, and I think this is a good enough point for me to bring a video to a close. And what are some of the key takeaways? If you're in Sydney and you're looking to buy a property, mate, feel free to reach out to me. I've gone through the pain, and whatever knowledge I can share with you, I'll be happy to do so. My pain, your gain. And for other aspects of it, like if you haven't already, customize your instructions file and use LLM to be your effective code companion. That's what I want to say, and I wish you well. Live long and prosper.